Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about how you can sell a website today. First, I want to let you know if you do have a website that has either traffic or revenue that you want to sell, email me, stacy@her.co, because I'm always looking for websites to buy personally, so I might want to make an offer. And also I have an email list at her.co that is always looking for websites to buy. So send me that email, Stacy, STACY @her.co, and I'll get back to you if there's anything we can do to work together on selling your site. Alright, I think it's important to just differentiate this before we dive in, but there are two types of sites you can sell. One is a starter site, which is one that you either custom make or that you've already made that has all the pieces in place that a site has. It can be set up for success in different ways, and it's already keyword researched, it has content, or it's just the structure of the site that you're selling, or you're making it custom for someone, but it has no traffic and no revenue. This is a starter site, and depending on how you position it, you can still sell it for a lot of money, especially if it's a custom site for someone. If it's just a site you made and you put content on it and it has potential, it probably will only sell for a few thousand at most. But if it is a custom site, there are a lot of web designers that put high prices and can make great sites. That's a starter site. And then the other type of site is a site that is making revenue, or it has a lot of traffic. So this is a different kind of site because more people will want to buy it because it's either making money or you can directly monetize the traffic it already has. So it's actually worth something. I mean, these sites are worth something too, but they're valued differently. And personally, I only like to purchase this type of site, which is a site that already has traffic and already has revenue. If you do have a starter site and you want to sell it, you can try selling it as is. You can also try to get it traffic and optimize it for SEO and other traffic sources. And then if you start getting traffic or revenue, you actually might be able to sell it for more than what you would be able to sell it without. But either way, you can still pretty much sell any type of site, and they're definitely in high demand, whether or not they're making traffic or revenue, because a lot of people want a website and an online presence, or want to try to make a website that will start earning revenue. So a lot of people are currently buying websites. I'm going to talk about how you can sell a starter site first, and then I'm going to dive into how you can sell a site that's already making money or already has traffic. If you have a starter site, one way to sell it is to join website investing groups or passive income groups or even business owner groups. You should start by kind of adding value, answering questions, being there as a support system. People will start to get to know you. You can even do a few posts that highlight your experience. Maybe you have a really cool website, etc. Just add value in the group, participate in the group, get to know the group, and get to know the people in the group. And then at some point you can ask the admins if they allow you to directly post something you're selling in there. And if they do, great. You can say, hey, I made this site, or I have this starter site, it's really great, or I build custom sites for people. And you can directly sell that in the group. And if the admin says they don't accept that, or if it's in the rules that they don't accept it, then you can still post, but you have to be a little bit more discreet about it. So you could just kind of do a post that says, hey guys, I have this 10,000 word, gorgeous finance website. I'm not really sure what I should do with it. Should I try to sell it? Should I try to grow it on my own? Should I do something? So kind of ask for advice and kind of show that you have this asset. And if someone's interested, they're going to message you and they're going to say, you know what, you should sell it, and you should sell it to me. So you can actually still sell in a group even if there's not direct selling involved. You just have to get creative in how you present your offer. And even if no one makes an offer on it, you'll probably still get good feedback. Maybe someone says, hey, I know you could sell it here, or maybe you should do this, and you can start making money from it on your own. So going to a Facebook group is always a good first option if you want to sell your starter site, or if you want to sell your site that's already making revenue. Selling a starter site, you can also create your own client base, and you can also do a lot of marketing efforts there. I'm not going to get into much more how to sell a starter site. If that's something that you do have and that you want to sell, you can do your own research, and you can start posting in Facebook groups, and you can even list it on a site such as Flippa, and some other brokers do accept starter sites. But now I'm going to dive into how you can sell a site that has revenue and has traffic. The first thing you want to do is email me, Stacy, STACY@her.co, and we can start a conversation and see if there's some way that I can either buy your site or help you sell it. So that's the first step. always. I have a huge email list that always wants sites, even if it's something that I'm not interested in. So email me first. Secondly, you can also list it on one of the many website investing platforms, and you can also, if you're still listening and you have a starter site, you can also sell your starter site on these platforms, at least most of them. You can always try listing them, it's just they might not get as many bites because most people on these website investing platforms are looking for sites that are already making money, but some people are looking for the starter sites. You can list it on flippa.com. Flippa has a $49 listing fee, and then they take a 10% success fee of each sale, and that goes down as your site price goes up. Like the percentage that they take goes down, so the number they take still goes up, but the percentage will go down. And you can also sell your site on empireflippers.com. Flippa accepts every site that lists on it. Empire Flippers is more choosy, and they're going to vet your site and they're going to make sure it fits exactly what they want to sell to their audience, so you might not even get accepted on Empire Flippers. Neither of these is a guarantee of a sale, but you're going to get more visibility, and both of these platforms have a huge audience, so there's a really high chance that someone will want your site. I was looking on empireflippers.com, and it says that out of all the sites they've approved, they've actually sold 89% of the ones that they've listed. So still, your site could be in the 11% that really doesn't get sold, but there's a higher chance it will get sold if you list it than it won't. Like 89% is a pretty high chance. You can list on Flippa or Empire Flippers. With Empire Flippers, they make you pay like a $250 deposit when you list it, which they say they'll also refund it at some point. Like I know because I listed this, or I went through the process of listing a site with them. I didn't end up listing it, but I had to pay them the $250, and then they refunded it when they didn't approve my site for their platform. They actually don't post about this fee publicly, but I only know about it because I had to pay it when I tried to list with them. They also take a 15% success fee, which is pretty hefty. It goes down if your site is over $1 million in price. They take a pretty big success fee, so that's something you want to take into account. If you can try selling it with a broker first that takes a lower success fee, you're going to get to keep more of your total site price, although Empire Flippers sells sites at a pretty high multiple compared to some other brokerages and platforms, so you could end up still making more through them. It's something I'd recommend listing all your options and then seeing the potential amount you could get for the site on the different platforms, and then start with the ones that have the highest potential and then apply to the ones that have lower potential. Some other brokerages you can use are latonis.com, which is where I actually ended up selling my site. I can explain the process I went through near the end of this video. There's also FE International, where you can apply to list your site, and Investors Club, investors.club, they also let people apply to list sites on it. Quietlightbrokerage.com is another one. And you can also list in the Facebook groups, as I mentioned above, and you can also Google like where to sell your website online, and there are actually quite a few more brokerages that you can list on and platforms. Those are just the main ones and some of the most popular ones. You can also, if you have a smaller site, motioninvest.com is another site that accepts websites to sell, and they have a large audience interested in buying sites. They sell starter sites, and they also sell smaller sites that are generating revenue and traffic. So if your site is on the smaller end, making only a few hundred a month, you can definitely list with them. They actually sometimes will buy your site in cash as well, and then they'll sell it to their audience. So if you need cash quickly, that can be a good option. I ended up selling my site using a broker at latonis.com, and I actually had a really good experience in terms of Latonis. The broker was hardworking, responsive, and they did a lot to get my site out there. Latonis has a pretty big audience too, so I had a buyer within a few weeks, an interested buyer. So we got on a call and everything was great. He said, you know what, I actually want to buy it. We went through the process. He put the money in escrow. I transferred everything to him. We signed multiple airtight contracts. After I transferred everything to him, he had everything. He had the domain, he had the host, he had the database. He sends an email and says, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to take my money out. I want to not do this. He got cold feet, and he said it was because of, he didn't think the site complied with GDPR regulations, etc. He said you need like a controller, someone to manage the data. GDPR is very complex, and it is a very complex thing, but if you don't think a site complies with GDPR, you probably aren't going to be able to buy any website, because even Google has had the GDPR lawsuits and they've had to pay huge fines. So like if Google has its huge team of lawyers and they weren't even able to correctly prepare for GDPR, your small website or any website on any listing platform is not probably prepared for a GDPR lawsuit. At the end of the day, this person I think just got cold feet and wanted to pull out, and they were trying to pin something as a blame and they chose GDPR. But even if it didn't have anything to blame it on, they were still able to take their money out of escrow, and I transferred everything back. I mean, even though we had airtight contracts, it's not worth it to like get into a lawsuit over something like this. Like, sure, they signed the contracts, they put the money in escrow, but I'm not going to like go after them with a lawyer to try to make them follow through with the transaction. At the end of the day, there are tons of buyers who are interested, and it was a stressful experience, especially because I thought it was sold, I thought it was transferred, and then the buyer just pulled out at the last minute. It's kind of one of those experiences where I guess it's good to know that contracts at the end of the day don't have that much value. I mean, I'm sure if you take something to court, contracts have more value, but you just have to make a decision what's best for your site, and so I just moved on from that. Then I was kind of stressed because of the whole experience, and it took a few more months for them to find someone. Another interested person, we got on the phone, and this person wanted to buy it as well. This person did end up buying it for less than the price I'd originally put on it. There were some red flags with the buyer too. I shouldn't have sold it to that person, and there ended up being issues later on. It ended up being fine. I won't go into it in this video. Maybe I'll make a different video. It was fine. Like, they bought the site. Everything's fine. I don't regret selling the site. I do wish I'd waited for a different buyer and waited for it at a higher multiple. I got a pretty low multiple on my site, but it was fine. And Latonis actually is a really good broker in the sense they work hard, they get stuff done, but I do wish I'd done a higher end broker so I could have sold it at a higher multiple, and I do wish I'd been more patient waiting for someone to purchase it so I could have gotten a better purchaser who would have done more work on the site and not caused the issues that we ran into later on, as well as a purchaser who was willing to pay a higher multiple. Take all those things into consideration when you're selling your site. I would say be patient, work out the math on the different brokerages and platforms to see what makes sense for you to list your site, and just know that contracts aren't really airtight until the money has been not just put in escrow but literally released from escrow and you've fully transferred everything. So keep that in mind and don't get disappointed if someone does back out last minute. There are so many ways that you can sell your site, either if it's a brand new site or if it's one that's already making traffic and revenue. And remember, the number one way to sell it is to email Stacy, S-T-A-C-Y, at her.co, and we can talk from there. So I hope this was a helpful video, especially if you're looking to sell one of your sites. And comment below if you are looking to sell a site and which platform you're currently considering to list it on. So like and subscribe because that will help me be able to get more videos out for you guys. And I'll see you in the next video.